is Megan with Imagine That and More, and I'm here interviewing Lauren Jackson from Bold Notion Quilting because she is coming to Cleveland. She's coming to do a whole series of classes for a workshop over the first weekend in October. So we wanted to sit down and talk to each other and you and share all that we're going to be doing because we're super excited about this event. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you doing today?
Good.
Fun.
So our first class that you're going to be doing with us is free motion ruler work. And that's Friday, October 1st from 10 to 3. So it's a nice long hands-on class. Tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, so ruler work is a fantastic class to kind of dig deep and work more on your free motion quilting. There's so many different things that you have to think about when it comes to doing ruler work. What kind of ruler should you invest in? What do specific rulers, like what are they good for? How do I know what kind of rulers to buy for me and my style of quilting? And so we're going to talk about all of those things, as well as, moving on from that to how do we divide different borders, blocks, shapes for different ruler work designs. So you can see how if you manipulate your ruler, you can use the markings on it, as well as some, limited markings on your quilt to be able to manipulate the designs and get good results. So it's just all about learning those tools that you have and then fun ways to make them work for your own specific style of quilting. So we teach like a fundamental type base where we can talk about all of those things, but then we go more into some, advanced intermediate type things where we can talk about if you want to take it one step further, let's work on X, Y, and Z to make it happen so that you can really take those tidbits of information and really put them to work for you and for your style of quilting. Because we all learn and quilt differently, right?
Right. I think this is going to be a great class because at least I know I have a whole variety of rulers and I don't feel like I'm getting the most out of the ones that I have. Or maybe I could use some different ones that are a little bit easier to read. So you're going to teach us how to read rulers. And even I'm very excited about that. And then you're going to have some rulers for sale, the ones that you promote.
Yes. So I have been creating rulers for the last couple of years now. And so we've got a couple that are very specific to Bold Notion Quilting. They're my rulers that I sell. And I'm going to be bringing them with me so that you guys can buy them in the shop while you guys are there taking your classes. So that's going to be awesome because we haven't done that before, having the rulers available to purchase anywhere but through me, so that'll be great. Then you'll learn the value of the markings of your rulers too, because sometimes they're confusing. So
yeah, I think also just so people know that Imagine That More, we're new, so it's going to be a brand new place for people to come to, but we are keeping our classes very limited. Not because it's a super small space, but because we want to have a lot of hands-on. We want you to come and really learn and be able to ask questions. So the cost of the class is $120, and I think you're going to get a huge value out of it. The benefit of taking a class is because you're really investing in it's going to help every single quilt you do moving forward.
From here on out, yeah. And the benefit of being in an in-person class and a smaller class is that you can kind of work at a better pace when you have a smaller class size so that you can really hone into what everybody's needs are and really dig deep so that you can get more out of the class versus if you went, to a class of 50 people, it can be a little bit more difficult to find a good common ground and dig deep and learn as much as possible to help you on your journey.
So you have so much to offer. We're going to keep moving. The next class is our most fun class. It's called How Do I Quilt That? And Lauren is going to be going through and showing us quilting designs on 6 quilts. So we are looking for people to submit their quilts, 6 lucky people. And this is an awesome consultation. You're going to be making a specific plan. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so the goal for the class, How Do I Quilt That, is like a lot of people don't realize what they know as far as what they can quilt, and then or how to take what they know and apply it to this specific quilt or that specific quilt or that specific quilt, because everything is very different. And so, the goal is to open up your mind and say, this is where I can pull inspiration from. And if I see this shape, then I would maybe put this design here. And so there are 6 people who will be able to submit a quilt top for us to work over a plan in class and to show you how and why I would pick specific designs for that. But the biggest caveat is that your intake form, so if you wanted to submit a quilt, that form that asks all the questions is going to ask you questions about your specific quilting style. What can you quilt? What do you feel comfortable quilting? What might you want to be adventurous with and work on, on the quilt top that maybe you don't feel super comfortable with? And so the benefit of that is that you're not going to just learn ways that I would quilt these 6 different quilts, but ways that I would map out these specific 6 quilts for their specific 6 people. So it's going to be, someone who might like traditional, or someone who might like modern, or someone who might like contemporary. And so I think that's going to go a long way in just opening our minds and just broadening our perspective on what the possibilities are for various quilts and patchwork and all of that stuff. So it's going to be amazing. And this one is just a hands-on drawing lecture-based class. So I'm going to come with worksheets and everything, so you're prepared to just watch and participate, ask questions. And so all you're going to have to do is, write a couple notes here and there as you're kind of taking it all in.
Right. I think I just love these creative classes. This one is just an inspiration. You're just going to come and soak it up. It's in the morning, Saturday morning, October 2nd from 9:30 to 11:30. So I'm thinking coffee and donuts and our notepads, and just, she's going to blow your mind away, because I know that I personally had you do a consultation with me on a quilt I was stumped on. Had been sitting in my UFO pile. I loved it, but I was scared to quilt it. And you just really stretched me, and it was a great success. So I'll even have that quilt that we can show people that I finished because of you, because you haven't seen it in person yet.
I haven't, so I'm excited. I'm really excited to see it, because you do so well with the quilting that you do. And oftentimes a lot of us, you kind of get scared and intimidated by the quilt top. It's so important to you that you're like, oh, I can't touch this thing. So, it kind of just throws off your mojo. But then if you can just kind of take a step back and figure it out and then quilt it, now you have something beautiful that you love to look at and you're so excited with and happy with that you finally got finished.
Right. Cool. And you kind of pushed me into using rulers, which I was kind of, well, why should I? I like to do swirls. And now I'm doing ruler work, which takes us back to our last class. But now you need to show me how to actually read my rulers. So I'm going to be watching while you're teaching. But then right after How Do I Quilt This, we're going to do a free motion show and tell. And this is a great time. You guys just bring your quilt tops, whatever it is you're working on, or halfway through or whatever. And we're just going to encourage one another. I can't wait to see what people are doing. And that's completely free. That's from 1 to 2:30. And then Sunday, I have to say, this is one of my favorite classes that you're doing, is the beautiful borders and blocks. And yeah, she's showing you the top behind it. Just tell us all about that.
Yeah, so Beautiful Borders and Blocks is a fantastic class. It's a guild favorite. This is one of those things that I, don't necessarily teach online. And we're going to talk about kind of the intangibles of borders and blocks, because I think a lot of times you have to kind of work through those conceptual type things. So for instance, I love this border. This is the design I want to do, and I'm going to show you guys examples. How do I make this fit evenly across my border? My border isn't an even, inches across, or 2 inches or 5 inches or whatever. I can't evenly divide my quilt top. So what do I do? Right? Or I love these feathers or the swirl design, but how do I make it evenly go around my corner, around my borders or swirl? We're going to talk about those things. And then we're going to talk about how, when you have blocks and when you have different sashings and borders, where you want to kind of separate and accentuate those in ways that are going to make your quilt top look probably harder than it was to actually quilt it, which is going to be amazing. So we're going to talk about dividing and designing and marrying some different designs between sashing, blocks, and borders to really help you build a cohesive piece and work your way around it with ease.
Yeah, and this is actually, the kit for this is a panel. It's going to be a 45 by 56.
But they get the whole thing in the kit, right? So they'll get that extra piece because the panel's really big.
Yes, the panel is big, and you're going to cut it down, and we're going to have an extra piece that you can use for practice as well. But it's a beautiful panel. We have a girl colorway, which is right here with Lauren, and then we have a really fun boy colorway. See, this is the full panel. Yeah, you guys are only going to do part of it because it becomes a little cumbersome for a class, and we want you to walk away and actually have a lap size quilt.
Yeah, and this is the 56 by 71, so they're going to cut it off here, and so
you'll have a border.
Yep.
Yeah. But I think this is a great panel because nowadays it's so popular to have quilts that have these white blocks in it. And then you get to this white block and everyone goes, what do I do? And unless you do something fun in it, it kind of looks like, why is there a white block there? But
Right.
now it's really an opportunity for you to try new things, and you're going to learn all sorts of different stuff and to take home, and you can apply it to every quilt that you do after this.
And I think that's a big takeaway though, with a lot of my classes, I'm not just teaching you a project. Sure, this is a project-based class where we're going to work on it, but essentially I'm going to teach you a bunch of different ways that you can take what you know and manipulate it to work on your various quilt tops. So by the end of class, it might be that you want to do these 3 specific blocks, combination, and then these 3 specific blocks combination, and the quilt that you end up quilting is going to be night and day different than your neighbors. So it's all about learning how to take the tools and manipulate them to work for you. And it's not anything crazy hard. It's just, how do we open up our minds and open up ourselves to want to do more of this creative kind of manipulation of the designs to make them work. It's gonna be awesome.
It is going to be awesome. And that extra piece, if you don't use it for practice that day, we're going to have a follow-up class after Lauren leaves, and she may peek in virtually on us, and we're going to keep, reminding you of the stuff that she has taught us and given us, the seeds that you've planted. This is not a one and done. We're going to have, a long-term relationship, and we're going to keep working on these. So you're committed, girl.
Yeah. And that's fantastic too, because it really is just practice. So the more that people can come to put it to work, and if they need that confidence booster to come back in and do it with you later at, for a follow-up class, or just to really solidify and really bring those points home, then that's a fantastic thing that they can come and do. Now, I know we have the ruler class, the how do I quilt that, and the fancy blocks and borders, but isn't there a quilt exhibition that we're doing as well? Are we going to talk about
that? Yes, we are doing on Thursday evening to start it all off. You are going to be coming and be our guest of honor. We're having an evening out, and we have room here at the space so that we can actually display Lauren's quilts, and you'll be able to see them. And then we're going to do a fireside chat. We're going to talk about your journey, because you have a fascinating story, and you've been such a mentor to me, and I'm very excited to sit down and be able to share kind of how you've moved your business all across the country and somehow still managed to not only you're opening a store that maybe someday I'll get to Florida and see, but you also have this long arm business that you have moved and set up machines, and you have a good understanding of different kind of long arms. So if anyone's even interested in at some point purchasing a long arm, you're the girl to go to, because you helped me purchase my first one and my second one.
Yeah, I made a whole spreadsheet, just to kind of narrow everything down for, pros and cons for me, because you can get all the specs of the different machines that you want, but depending on what's actually important for you and what you plan on quilting makes a big difference. But yeah, I'm excited to come and sit and chat, because what Megan's saying, where I moved my business all around, it's because I'm a military spouse, and so I've had to move
all these walls looking for your quilts.
Yes, that's what I was pointing out earlier. She's got all those empty walls to hang all the quilts on. So I'm going to bring lots of quilts for us to do. It's going to be like a gallery exhibit, right?
Right. And people, during the classes, you can rent time on our long arms. We have a 7-foot Juki here. We've got a 10-foot crown jewel. And then we're going to have, you can see another Juki on a big, huge table. And we have a tiara coming in. So you can rent either the sit-down machines or the long arms to share. And then that way everything will be prepped for you, and which is nice.
Ballet service.
So that's just another $30 more for a class, but honestly, it's worth it. We could probably put the chocolate on there for you for our company.
Chocolate on your pillow. That's awesome. So for each class, so the exhibition, does that have a attendance fee? Does that have a entrance fee, I should say? For Thursday night?
Yes, Thursday night is a $25 entrance fee, and it's going to be hors d'oeuvres and maybe wear your best. We're going to make it, it's a gallery exhibit. So
I have to go shopping.
Yeah, one of our things we wanted to do was we're in Cam's Corner in Cleveland, and we wanted to bring the arts community to this area. A lot of the Cleveland neighborhoods have it, and so you are our first artist to actually show here. So we're opening up to the community, because I know a lot of people love to see quilts even if they're not going to do free motion. So you are honored guest.
Yay, I'm excited. And I honestly can say I have quilted probably 20 times more for other people than I've quilted for myself. So I actually yeah, and so I actually had some of my clients ship in some of their beautiful Judy Niemeyer Quiltworks quilt tops.
To see them.
And they're going to be there for people to look at and see the quilting, and they're all, there's a bunch of different kinds. So it's going to be so
this is really a one-time event. So we're really excited to have you. Yeah,
it really is, because I will probably never have those quilts to show again. I wish I could keep them all, but they're not mine.
And that's the difference between live, coming in live and just supporting Lauren, and so that she can show us what she does, and we can actually talk and maybe
ask questions. Yeah, that makes all the difference. So I'm really excited to come, and I think it's going to be so much fun. And we're doing kind of like early morning and all day, and so we've got a good variety of times that people can come if they can't make it. And then, if you want to, you can sign up for all of them and hang out with me the whole weekend. So it'll be awesome.
Like I said, seating is very limited. So you want to grab it while it's here, because we are not letting in everybody. We're not going to be herding cattle that we we don't want you all squished in. We want to be able to be socially distanced and be able to just have a nice learning environment. So that's our goal.
It's going to be fun. I love smaller classes because it gives us a chance to really connect, and really have a fun time. So I'm excited. I'm so excited to come here.
We look forward to having you. In fact, we look forward to having everyone, all of you. I can't wait to see you in our new space and share it with you.
Awesome. So if people want to sign up, they can just sign up at...
You can sign up at imaginethatmore.com. And you can just go to our events page. There's a flyer button, so it'll have a recap that'll show you. I'm just gonna see if I have a flyer here to show you what all classes we're gonna have, and then they can go in and specifically sign up for each class. So, awesome. And we're asking people, even if you just come to the show and tell, it's free, but go ahead and sign up so we know how many people are coming, so we can have refreshments and everything for you.
Yes, very cool.
Thank you. We'll see you then.
Awesome. See you then. Thanks for having me.
Bye.
Bye.